4th down, the final play, unless they can stick it in the end zone. Dorsey under pressure, throws it, incomplete. The Buckeyes win.
Ezekiel Elliott, and he's got an opening. Elliott off to the races. Can they catch him?
Feature the two backs as receivers, and now a downfield shot on first down for the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State strikes first. Making adjustments again, and there is Smith rolling free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly from 45 yards. Pressure comes. Sword, knocked it out, and picks it up. Jack Sword, coming down the sidelines. Ohio State scoop and score. And dagger from 82 yards.
Here they come.
Heavy pressure, Howard delivers downfield, and Smith, he's got it! Jeremiah Smith, the 2025 College Football National Champion, Coach Ryan Day, and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Welcome in, Buckeye backers. We are bringing it to you live from Seattle, Washington, to the cornfields of Enid, Ohio. We are the pulse of Buckeye fans across the nation, with Seattle Matt and Buckeye Steve. Welcome in, Buckeye backers. We are here with a great show for you. We got, as always, Alex Bryan joins the show, and Coach Steve Steele, 7-time state champion head coach for none other than Lincoln Kienholz. Man, Kienholz was there for some of them, right? How many of them was he there for?
He was there for 4. He was a starter for 3.
Starter for 3, there for 4. So he was there 4 in a row?
Yeah, he didn't know what it was like to lose in high school.
Oh,
there you go.
My goodness, that's just amazing. So he knows all about competition. That kind of prepared him for getting to Ohio State. I know it's on a different level, but when you have that kind of competition where you're just winning, and you see the best of the best in your state, even if it's a smaller state, smaller football state, you're competing at the highest level in the state.
Yeah, and the other part was, he competed in every sport. He also, part of the reason he didn't go early enrolled at Ohio State was he stayed to finish basketball season and then ended up winning a state baseball title, 3 days before he left for Columbus. So, he liked to compete, and he always does compete, and I think that's part of the reason he is where he is.
And last time you were on the show, you talked a little bit about all the sports and how, just great of an athlete all around he is. But then you brought up a little story about hockey. Can you tell us that hockey story again?
Yeah. So, in the summer, I'd been running hockey camps. And so I was kind of at the rink for the non-football days. And, he was right in the middle of June. He was doing all of his OVs. And, he was going to Wisconsin and then went to Wyoming and Washington. And he came in to the rink to kind of chat and just kind of debrief how his visit went and kind of talk where his head's at and where he was going. And he's like, hey, do you want me to get out and help you with this next session? And I'm like, dude, you played basketball. Like, you can't know. And he's like, dude, I played hockey for a few years. And against my better judgment, we gave him some skates and let him roll out there. And he could still skate pretty dang well. And I think he stopped playing when he was about 11. So, it was probably 7 years or 6 years since he'd really played. And you wouldn't have known. He was able to get out there. He was still really coordinated with a stick in his hands. I have no doubt that if he just practiced, he probably could have been one of our best hockey players too.
My goodness. And then you also brought up golf. And there's been a lot of talk about golf as he's out there swinging. They asked him in the press conference, who's the better golfer, you or Julian Sane? And he declined to answer that. But you could tell there was a definite winner in that game, right? If you had to guess who that winner was going to be, Coach, who would you say?
Yeah, he is good. He is a really good golfer. It was in the early part of summer when he was home and we went out. And he's a really, really good golfer. He can hit the ball a long ways. And he's just he hates being bad at anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if he hits a bad shot, it truly bothers. I shouldn't even say hits a bad shot. Hits a less than ideal shot, and it really bothers him. And he puts so much pressure on himself to then go on and hit a better shot the next one to come back strong. And his scramble game is really good. He's just an all around athlete. And I just think the competition between himself I think that's the other thing that really sets him apart when you get to golf is, whether he's playing somebody or just playing himself, he wants to hit the best shot he can.
Okay, that's awesome. So, Alex, you know a little bit about being an Iron Buckeye, right? Just tell me what you think about your general impression of what it takes to be an Iron Buckeye.
Well, you gotta, like what Coach Steele said, you gotta have that competitive spirit in you. You gotta be tough. You gotta be willing to go up against the best of the best. And, that's why Ohio State does this, as much as they do with the Iron Buckeyes. And, you see guys on there like Marv, Emeka, stuff like that, guys who earn their way on there because of their competitive spirit, their toughness, their willingness to get better each and every week. And, you see the names on there. You're not surprised those guys made it on that list. What was this couple years ago? It looks like this list.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
No, you're good. But I think a lot of the guys on this team, including Lincoln, have those traits and all that good stuff. And I've liked what I've seen of Lincoln. He's definitely an athletic freak. He seems to do it all. But I'm sure you've heard that a lot of people have already written saying as a starter. What would you say as his former coach to those people saying, pump the brakes a little bit? My guy might have something to say about it. What would you say to those people on why he could be the guy?
Yeah, I just think that he's really good at blocking all that out. I mean, it's he doesn't really care about proving anyone outside the football program right. You're wrong. He truly does care about the team. I mean, that's goes all the way back to high school days. I mean, his sophomore year, he struggled the first half of the season, and that was we were coming off of our third straight title, and so he had a lot of weight on his shoulders that year as a sophomore, first year starter, and he faced the fire and really struggled through, I think, probably 13 or 14 picks in the first half of the season, and then through like 3 the next 2.5 years. He just really found a way to come together and figure everything out and just lead the team more than anything else. So, I don't think that he's concerned about what anyone thinks other than the people that are in that team, in the locker room, and in the coaching staff.
And I got to get it. Doug Shepard is regular on here, and he just says, I keep hoping Lincoln wins the starting quarterback position, but I will support Julian. That's the type of real fan. You're going to get all this drama from one side or the other, people supporting this one, people supporting that one, and just negative comments in general. That just comes with the territory of being in that level of a program at Ohio State. But what I got to say to you is, so if you get to Ohio State just earning a scholarship, awesome. Like, you're one of the best in America. You get to Ohio State, you're in a competition for the quarterback. That's a next level. And then on top of that, you're an Iron Buckeye. An Iron Buckeye means you're the best of the best athletes mentally and physically in the nation, which boils down to almost in the world. Like, there has got to be a sense of pride in you for seeing that, the young man that came under your tutelage and got to the point where he's an Ohio State quarterback from South Dakota. And now he's one of the best in the world. Yeah,
it's a really cool thing to see. And when that list came out, you can tell he's very proud of that, as he should be. But it's such a cool acknowledgement for everything that he's done and everything that he set out to do. And I think probably the coolest part, in some of the conversations, and I know they talk to the quarterbacks about what the room is like, and everything he's shared is the same thing. He genuinely enjoys everybody in that room, and I think that speaks a lot to the culture. I know we talked about that the last time I was on too, of how there's just not a whole lot in the transfer portal, and there's not a whole lot else, because there really is a good bond there. And I think that's the part that's really cool to see. You always hope that the kids, when they go and play college football, that they have that real genuine experience, not such a transactional thing in today's college football world that it's kind of become. But I think that he's really enjoying the same family atmosphere and just the same brotherhood and bond, and I think that's one of the reasons he's able to work and push himself so hard, because he feels that that's his duty, because he knows everybody else is doing the same thing.
I was kind of bouncing back and forth. I think a lot of people have, when you go and you see practice and you see some of the beautiful balls that he threw deep in that student appreciation game, Lincoln, he had a touch on the ball that hit a guy in stride, one of the deep ones for a touchdown. And I think it was to, if I remember correctly, it was to Brandon Ennis. But he seemed to have a really good connection with Ennis. And I don't know what that stems from. Maybe they just have, that connection. Sometimes it's just innate. It develops over time, and you got that. He's got to get that connection with Jeremiah Smith, obviously, too. Do you feel like he has that? Does he have a good connection with Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many great athletes, and I think the thing that Lincoln's got, because he's always had this, is he understands the strengths and weaknesses of his teammates, and he trusts, when he trusts your team or his teammates, he's not afraid to just go out and let them be them. It doesn't feel, it takes away some of that pressure from feeling like you have to make a perfect throw when you're throwing to Jeremiah Smith. You can throw a god awful throw and somehow he'll come down with it. So, that makes it a lot easier for him to be him and to showcase some of the athleticism and do some of those things because he's not worried about having to be perfect.
But in the opposite end of that, you talked about how there was just freaks all over the defense. And you said before we got on here, I just kind of asked you, what has Lincoln said about just general position groups, wherever that, and basically you said the whole team is great. Anyone on defense, anyone at the wide receivers or skill positions. So you do have to work on those great balls, and it's iron sharpens iron. So just speak to what he thinks about the defense, about the DBs, about the linebackers, the defensive line.
Yeah, the first and foremost thing that it's just so much fun, because it's fun to be playing at this high of a level, and it's practice. Yep. His senior year, we were a really, really good football team, and it was very similar. Where we were probably the favorite to win. And we should have done what we did, and because of that, practice was sometimes more competitive than games. And I think that's the same thing that he's feeling there, and that's exactly what he's really enjoying right now. It's just he can trust his guys, but at the same point, he can't trust them too much. Because the other guys on the other side of the ball are just as good as. Which is crazy to say that they're just as good as a Jeremiah Smith caliber player. But, it makes it a lot more fun for those players that do crave that intensity, crave that competition, because they don't want it to be easy. That's another thing with him is he doesn't expect it or want it to be easy.
Was there one guy on the team that he was just like wowed by it all at any position that of at least?
Yeah, again, I think the skills. I know he's had a good connection with Ennis. Probably some of that is just that's the group he was in at times. But Jeremiah Smith is just next level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone sees it all over, nationwide. It's Jeremiah Smith's getting all the publicity for a good reason. You come in as a freshman, you do what you did. It's like I always compare it to the Maurice Claret of my generation. Like if Maurice Claret would have come and been there a second year, it would have been absolutely crazy how it would, anywhere you walk in Columbus, you can't go there, and Jeremiah Smith kind of has that. But let's get back to Lincoln. His press conference this week, he was there and someone asked, does having that black jersey kind of hamper you a little bit from showing off your skills? And there's no doubt about it, it does, because he's an athlete. He can get out in space, he can run. He's put on some pounds. I think he's up to 210 is what he said.
Yeah.
So he's not a small dude by any means, right?
No, he looks like a machine. It's amazing what the weight room can do, and especially you get into some of these high level programs. You can see the difference, from kids at different levels, right? Your Division IIIs to your Division IIs to your FCS to your Power Fives, and it's just amazing what they can do to a body. Obviously the kids have to go and they have to work hard and they have to do their part, but it's amazing what the science is behind all of it and how they can really get those guys performing, and not just performing, but also get their body to the right weight, for their performance to peak. And I think he really feels that that's where he's at right now. He feels like he's at a weight that he's settled in at, and that's the best weight for him to perform.
Does he want to scramble? Is that something that's like, yeah, I love this, I eat that up? Does he want to pass it? Or is it, just a combination? I take whatever the defense gives me.
Yeah, he wants to win. He's, I don't think he cares what he does. If he scrambles to throw, if he scrambles to run, that's his mentality has always been, whatever we got to do to get the next thing done. And he doesn't have he's never been one where he's like, well, I got to get passing touchdowns or I got to get running owns. It's
right.
Whatever we have to do to get into the end zone and get the first down. That's what we need to do.
Love it. I mean, every time I talk to you, it's like, all right, I'm flipping back over to Lincoln because everyone else everywhere is saying, Sain's the starter. You talk to any national media, they don't even mention that it's a quarterback battle. But the Big Ten Network was there today, and they definitely said, you know what? Sometimes we go to these things where they say it's a quarterback battle, and based on reps, based on competition, based on accuracy, it's not. It's clear who's the winner. We don't say it, but they came out and tweeted that today, that it is a competition, and even if there was one guy leading the room, I don't think Kienholz is the type of person to lay back and wait and let someone just take it. I saw him. He struggled on Saturday a little bit with deep balls. Nothing out of the ordinary. It just was one of those days. Guess who was there after practice throwing deep balls? Well, everyone else was off signing their autographs to the fans. Lincoln was out there throwing deep balls to the coach. And that's exactly what you want to see out of a quarterback. That's exactly what you want to see out of a leader. Because there's going to be times when you struggle. There's going to be any game when you struggle. You're going to get behind. You're going to throw a pick. It's going to happen. You're going to fumble it. Someone's going to jump off sides. You have to be able to push back that negative perception and fight back. So he's got that killer instinct where, I'm going to work harder now.
Mm-hmm.
I messed up. I'm going to work harder.
Yeah, he does. He had that back in high school. And again, I almost related to that golf game question in the very beginning. If he hits a shot that's not bad, but just not the way he wants it. He's a guy, he loves the flop shot. And that's a gutsy shot. With me, you miss it by just a fraction of a centimeter, and all of a sudden you're scalding it, and it's going 48 yards past the hole. He's got the confidence to hit a shot that's got to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't hit it exactly right, then he wants to, drop another ball. I need to figure this one out so the next time it's ready to go. And that's just how he is in his life. And again, I think that's why he's great at playing quarterback, but he can be great at so many things because it's really a personality trait, not just a football trait.
Well, hey, Robert is on here saying the shoe's going to be crazy. So let's switch tunes and talk to how it's going to be a 1 versus 2. First time ever on week 1 is going to be a noon game. Are you going to be able to be there for it? You have a game probably the night before.
Yeah, it's going to be tough now. If it was going to be an evening game, that would have made the life a lot easier. Because we'll have a 7:00 game at night, so we'll have to see what the flights look like. We got a 6:20 flight out of here, and that's about as early. We can't go earlier than that, so it's going to depend on what Denver's got.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens. But
you have to drive to Denver?
No, we have a flight. We only fly to Denver from our airport here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. 7:00 would have been a lot better for many reasons, but selfishly, it'd been better for those traveling from a pure football game.
Absolutely, and anyone really, across the nation. That's got to hamper recruiting, right? You have the biggest games on your schedule at noon. The entire year last year, Ohio State's had more big noon kickoffs than any team in the Big Ten, almost additively, right? It's that's their cash cow for the big noon. Something's got to change about that. That cannot go on forever.
Can't wait for Penn State at noon, can you?
Oh, no, not at all. Penn State gets to have Ohio State for the whiteout every year, and then they come to Ohio State, and you're like, you know what?
Well, I will say we've been playing them pretty early at their place too, which
the last time it
but yeah, the Texas game being at noon, we all know that's a joke. It's gonna be a night game at their place next year, of course, because ESPN's gonna get it. But I know you mentioned earlier. Let me go back to Lincoln real quick here. I know you mentioned earlier that sophomore season he's throwing a ton of picks. Then he finishes the season strong the way you'd like to see him. If it wasn't that moment, what was the moment you saw Lincoln and his play and you said, "Oh, that's a dude"?
Yeah, it would have been, very clearly there's a game we played Mitchell and in his sophomore season. It was the game that we really started to turn the corner. And at that time, he was a skinny beanpole, he was not 6'3", 210. He was like 6 foot and skinny. I don't even want to put a weight on him, but not
soaking
very
wet
big.
140. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and he's back there. I mean, there's still there's big kids that are seniors in high
Yeah.
school, and he still had a great arm. He always had a high level arm, but he really didn't understand how to run yet. And he kind of ran like a little bit timid, baby deer, just in the sense that, I know I'm, not very big. I know these guys are large. That's going to hurt. And that Mitchell game, when we played him, he seamed one, right through the middle of the line. He hit it at full speed and then was gone. And it was a 60-yard touchdown. And, 2 more of those later, and all of a sudden there's a guy in the box and he's able to throw. And I think that was one of those moments where he's like, wow, okay, so me being able to hit the whole hard running like this and just running with confidence actually makes my passing game better, because now they're going to have to commit more guys in here. And, when we got to his senior year, we had a couple running backs that both got injured. So quite frankly, he was our running back. He was our quarterback. And we were pretty much just an empty set. And it was, you either come down and you stop him running the ball, or you're going to commit to him stopping him running, and then we'll just let him pick you apart. And obviously we had a lot of success with it, but that's kind of the moment that I think that changed for him, was when all of a sudden he used his legs and confidently used his legs. Then he never looked back after that.
Now, obviously, he's from South Dakota, and you got those powerhouse colleges up there like North Dakota State, South Dakota State. What made him choose Ohio State over those colleges and just any other college? Because obviously being a kid from the Dakotas, that's the school. Those are the schools, unless you're a 5-star, of course, and are getting those 5-star offers. What made him choose Ohio State?
Well, I think we actually laughed about this during this whole process, because how many kids would have a Final Four of Washington, Wisconsin, Wyoming, and North Dakota State? I mean, that's a very wide spread. Those were his 4 OVs in June. Yeah. And then Ohio State kind of came late to the party, and there was Notre Dame and LSU and Florida State, a few of those ones that kind of heated up into his senior season. And he was obviously committed to Washington ahead of that season. But, ultimately what it came down to was, he saw the track record with quarterbacks, and he's like, well, if I want to be the best quarterback I can be, then I want to go to the place where the best quarterbacks have been. Because if I can be the starting quarterback at Ohio State, then I can be an NFL quarterback, and I can, be one of the best.
Mm-hmm. Best of the best. So what happened to make him kind of get on that spotlight where Notre Dame and Ohio State were schools coming after him? Was there something that changed, something that clicked in the senior season? Was it just the senior season, or was he going to some of those camps that kind of changed their attitude with him?
So it's Kalen DeBoer, the Washington's, well, now Alabama, but at the time Washington's head coach. His college roommate is the broadcaster for our state championship games. And his junior year, we were down 3 touchdowns 2 different times, and we came back and won on a last-second field goal. And then, that was kind of where that guy, his college roommate, was kind of like, wow, this kid could be the real deal. He could be at that level. And at the time, actually, of that game, he was at Fresno State. So he kind of got eyes on him when he was at Fresno State, and then carried that to Washington. And, John Stiglmeyer at the time was the head coach of South Dakota State. And I remember him coming into the school right after Washington was there, seen him throw before school, and had offered him that day. And he's like, well, Lincoln's not a Missouri Valley football player, so let's just make sure he's not in the Missouri Valley. Kind of just being like, hey, we're probably not getting him. Let's make sure he doesn't go to NDSU because he should be far and above, because they pretty much are like, as soon as one, how it is, once one big school gets his name out there and everyone's going to look and figure out who this kid is, then he knew all the rest of them were going to come shortly after.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's got to be fun too. But, I wanted to ask you a little bit. You've had some fun lately, and it's just not just Lincoln, all right? You had your boy get taken in the first round of the draft. Great, Zabel. You said he played all 5 positions. He can play all 5 positions, but probably is going to be the starting guard, as a rookie in the NFL.
Yeah, he should be the left guard. Yeah, they're probably just about ready to get rolling here shortly for their first preseason game. But yeah, he's left guard. But he in high school he was a center, for us. And then when he went to college, he kind of played a little bit of everything. It was kind of wherever they needed him. He was some guard, and at NDSU their tackles are kind of their premier guys. So he started inside when they had the Cody Mox and the Cordell Volsons, and then worked his way out as those guys went to the NFL. So. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that's able to play just about anywhere, and another just crazy competitor, and another person who can absolutely just smash a golf ball.
Oh yeah, you guys are all about golf.
Yeah, he can hit the ball a long ways.
I don't know how it is in the Dakotas, but I know here in Ohio, if you're a big name school like a Massillon or anybody, you can pretty much get any high school kid you want to come to your school. Has it become that way for you when you like get a guy who's going to get he got drafted to the Seahawks, and you potentially could have more players that get drafted in the future? Like, has it become that way for you? Can you just get anybody you want now?
I would like to say yes, but we're kind of pretty isolated. We're 3 hours from the bigger cities. So, I mean, I'd say within our school, probably, yeah. I mean, I think our 10 best are usually football players, which is always a goal of ours as a coaching staff. Yeah. If you get your 10 best athletes out, no matter what high school you're at, you're probably going to be pretty good. But we don't have a whole bunch of that. We just, because we're really the only school. There's one other school in our area. Otherwise, there's not a whole bunch within probably 30, 40 miles.
Well, it seems to be working no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got to do quite a bit of traveling to all your games.
Yeah, our closest away game's 2 hours. Furthest is 4. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty much 3 hours from everything.
Wow. My goodness. Yeah, that's a different dynamic than you get to see at some of these other states. So that's got to be fun. You got to be so proud. I mean, you can't be more proud of what's going on in Columbus. Like he's battling, like I said, after practice, throwing those deep balls, staying afterwards. That's something that he's got to do, right? It's just, if you're an Iron Buckeye, you're doing that already. So just talk to me about like what his work ethic is, what it's always been like, and he's never going to back down, no matter, even if, let's say gets the starting job. You keep going, you keep grinding, you're going to get that chance eventually. Even this year, like there's going to be a point where you got to go in the game, no matter what. And to me, I think there's got to be a package for him, no matter what, a running game package, right?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, I know he feels good about he's going to get an opportunity one way or another. I mean, he feels like he's doing a good job, and he feels like he's excited and he's ready for it. And, I just think more than anything, the thing that I'm most proud of is just that he's still the same kid. You don't see those kids when they get to some of these big-time situations and they get all these opportunities that, they can sometimes change, and they can become someone that they're not. But, I mean, he's still the same kid, and he still works just as hard. And, I remember in high school we had a couple of Division II receivers, and I mean, every day we'd finish practice about 6 o'clock, and I remember there was a day we were all talking as a coaching staff for probably a half hour, and they still were there when we left, just going through timing routes and everything like that. And then you see those show up in the games. That's the really exciting part is, when you can throw a curl and the ball's there right when the guy's turning around. There's no way to cover that as a defensive back. Your options are let him catch it or get a PI, and then that's really it. And when you can develop that chemistry, and it's pretty tough to stop. But the hard part is to do that. You have to put in the time. You've got to put in the hours and the reps. And he's someone that's going to do that, and I think if he ends up being the starter, I mean, it could be really special with the chemistry that he has with some of those athletes, because there's not too many Division II receivers on Ohio State.
No. And I see some – I kind of get the impression from Ryan Day. You have the young guy, you have Tavian St. Clair too in the background. He's kind of got a sense of like calmness almost, like I could win with either three of these guys. I'm not worried that I have to pick a guy just yet, because all three of them could go out there and win games for us. It's just the level of talent that Ohio State has right now. It's got to be a hard decision to make. And what separates them, you talked about a little bit about this last time. You got to wait to see what the locker room picks too, because you don't want that divided locker room. So there was a little bit of almost – it was a rumor, right, at Big Ten Media Days. I wasn't actually out there in the hallway where it happened. There was an interview with Jeremiah Smith. Someone had said that Jeremiah Smith saying was going to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if it's true one way or another. I don't even know if it matters because after what I saw with Lincoln, he looks like he has the leadership part down. Like he's got that poise about him. And even in the interviews, with the press, he knows how to handle the press, how to talk to the press. And he's just got that little bit of quiet demeanor, but confidence, like a confident, calm demeanor where he's going to take over. When anything needs to be done, he's going to take over, get it done, put in the extra work needed if he needs to.
Yeah. And I think the other intangible, this has been alluded to a little bit in the last couple of weeks is, you really saw grit with Howard last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the spots, I think a lot of people would say technically he might have had more flaws than other quarterbacks in the past, but the grit really made up for it at times and the competitive factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of strong comparisons there with Lincoln. Again, Sayan's phenomenal talent, phenomenal arm. And, and I've never met him. I can't allude to anything else other than what you see.
Yep.
But the one thing I know Lincoln has is he does have that competitiveness. He does have that grit. And that comes out when you are not wearing a black jersey, it's just harder to show those when, it's getting blown dead.
So I want to go back to a little bit. You said he definitely feels like he's going to have the opportunity. I have heard rumors that they were going to do some series to each of them in the beginning of the season. Now, it brings me back flashbacks that I don't know if you know about 2005 when Ohio State played Texas. Texas came to town. Texas had their quarterback in Vince Young. Ohio State was trying to decide between theirs, and they got series after series. And maybe it made the game different. Maybe they would have won with Troy Smith in there, but they went back and forth between Justin Zwick and Troy Smith, ended up losing at a heartbreaker. But, Vince Young goes on and wins the national title. So who knows if that was good or bad. Do you think a 2-quarterback system can work at this level of college football?
I don't know. I think it's very tough. I think that's the hardest part, again, is the locker room side and the offensive side because, so much of everything, it comes down to the camaraderie and the timing and everything else. And no matter how much you want to make sure all of that is the same, there's always going to be those minute differences. And especially with packages, again, I think it's also different if you're looking at 2 quarterbacks that are very similar, and again, I think there are some pretty distinct differences between Lincoln and Sayan, just in the sense that, obviously Julian's more your stereotypical pocket passer. He's not that he's not athletic, but he likes to throw the ball. And, I think Lincoln does have the run game element a lot more, maybe a little bit less on the throwing side. So just the fact that it can't quite be a carbon copy of the offense and the packages probably makes that a little harder because now, yes, if Lincoln has a package and Julian has a package, everybody else has to know both. So if you want to do that, you're really kind of, not necessarily doubling, but 1.5 times the workload for everybody else to learn all those different packages where they only have to know one.
Well, what about like a red zone or, you do the 3rd down package where, 3rd and long might benefit a running quarterback a little bit more. You can do the rollouts and you could possibly run it if you needed to too.
Yeah, those can be different. When it's more of a wildcat type thing, I think that's a little different. But I would say that if you're thinking more along those lines, you're still kind of having a starter and a specialist. I don't, whatever you want to call that, 1A and 1B. Where if you're really truly looking at kind of splitting series, you kind of do have 2 alternative plans. Okay. Where if it's just packages, you're saying they're both in, but he's the guy that's going to be your every down guy. This is our specialist. So I think that you can do it, but it's not really a co-starter. It's really a starter and a supporter at that point.
But that's the thing. Even if it was, let's just say there was a supporting role of a running quarterback, Lincoln could still sling it. So you could kind of game a team a little bit by being like run, and then all of a sudden deep ball, boom, wide open, because everyone comes up and they're not expecting that deep ball. And I've seen it. He's got the arm. He can do it, and he can match it up every time. And again, I'm going to come back to it because I just love that. I love a guy that's staying after practice, taking those extra reps. It shows a lot about their character, a lot about their determination, a lot about, earning the Iron Buckeye role. Just awesome. You've got to be so proud. You got to be proud of your football team. You got to be proud of having an NFL first-round draft pick came out of your program. I want to go back to that. What was the party like? What was the draft party like?
That was a lot later than I'd stayed up in a long time. Yeah, that was. I mean, it was a lot of fun. His brother had tweeted at Busch Light. I don't even know, maybe about midnight that we were out, and Busch Light delivered a pallet of beer the next day. So I mean, ended up being a long 2 nights.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it's a fun thing. It was a really cool thing for the community. I mean, the big event center had a huge party going on. I mean, there was a few hundred people there, and I mean, it was just a really neat buzz that we haven't felt around the community just because it never happened before.
Have you been to any Ohio State games?
No, I have not.
Oh, you got to get here.
You
got to get here.
I told him, I said, once you're on the field, then we'll make the trip and get out there.
It's a vibe.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, and he's gonna get there, like you said. There's one way around it. He'll get there. Whatever it takes, he's gonna get there. I could see it going either way right now. I do believe that Dave really thinks that there's a quarterback battle, and he's honest about that. He is waiting to see what happens with the locker room. They're both getting reps according to the Big Ten that was there today. So good luck to them. I'm going to let you go. We'll talk more Buckeye football after you leave, but I know you're –
Last question for me, though.
Okay, go for it.
We got to talk about his team. So you won 7 state titles in a row last year, made it to the state championship game, didn't quite go your way. What are we looking for in the Governor's football team this season?
Yeah, hopefully we find our way back to the top. I mean, we've got a lot of guys back. We were a very young team last year.
Yeah,
we've got a 4-star tight end that'll be a junior this year. I mean, he's very big. he's grown up a lot over this last year and really developed into a strong leader as well. Quarterback's back. So I mean, we feel like we've got a lot of good pieces in place, and we'll obviously see. I mean, we kind of had a rough patch last season with injuries and everything, and then we're able to bounce back. But we feel like we should have a very compelling chance to go back and do it again.
Yeah, even with a young team, you still made the state title game, so that's incredibly impressive. And us at Buckeye Nation with Lincoln on our team, we'll be rooting for you guys to get back to the top.
Thank you.
That's
no
awesome.
problem.
Hey, if he gets in, plays a decent amount, earns that starting job, we got to have you back on the show.
Yeah, well, I said we'll be if we can give us a 7:00 game, we'll get out there.
Yeah, because you got to take a victory lap at that point, Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh man, that's got to be tough. So that makes a big difference in recruiting. It has to, right?
I mean, it'd be hard for any of our kids to go and visit a game. I mean, and that's our 4-star tight end right now as he's trying to line a lot of these up. I mean, it really limits you on what ones you can go to based off of game times. I mean, obviously the Nebraska and Iowa's for us are driving distance, so those aren't too hard. But anything you're getting on a plane, I mean, it's pretty hard to get anywhere before noon on a plane.
Oh,
if you're leaving a regional airport that has to fly to Denver at 6. So, I mean, it definitely makes it tougher.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate it again. I hope you have a good time in Atlanta at work, and you have a good rest of your day. God bless you. Thanks for coming on the show and give us a little insight into Lincoln.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. All right, man, that was awesome. Every time he comes on, this is only the second time, but it's been awesome. He's a really good communicator. Yeah. You can see why he's won 7 state titles and was at the state title last year with just that little loss. You can see where Lincoln kind of gets that competitive nature. I think he's got it in him too.
Yeah, you can tell what kind of coach he is. I mean, like you said, they had a young team last year when went like 7-5, I believe, and still made the state title game and was this close from 8 straight. So, the ability to coach a team that young and to get them in that position, even after so much adversity you faced through the season, that's huge. So you can see where Lincoln gets it from.
Yeah. Definitely. I was going to bring in this interview that they had with Ryan Day a little bit because, just what he was talking about today was it was kind of impressive. But let me get it on there so I can share the screen. Give me just a second.
Right.
Anything else that you wanted to talk about, Lincoln in general right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I'm waiting patiently for the official announcement of who's going to lead this team this year. I've heard positives about both, negatives about both. In my mind, as long as you're better than Kyle McCord, you got a chance to lead this team to a national championship. So I think both are better than Kyle McCord. So I'm all right.
When do you think that they will? When do you think that they will announce?
I was talking to my buddy earlier today. We were talking shop. I think honestly, no later than Monday the 18th. I think no. Yeah, I don't think he's going to pull like he did where he names the starter in season. I think he learned that lesson. So I think no later than the 18th.
All right. Well, this is really what I wanted to show. This little interview. So hopefully we can hear it well.
You never can predict the storms that are coming, but they're coming along the way. And, you have to just build that foundation so that it can withstand the storms. And that's the work that we put in every day. And that's why this preseason is so important.
Right. So you're building a foundation right now. You're doing it with a much younger team than a season ago. So how is it different when you have a young team in camp versus an experienced team?
Yeah, every team is different. Every team has a different personality. Every team has a different group of leaders, different personnel groupings and different things. And so you got to put your guys in the best position to be successful. But ultimately, guys have to step into new roles. And that's the fun part of the journey to see where this goes. I really like the competitiveness of this group. I like the edginess of this group. We just need to continue to work and grow and have a great preseason. And we certainly know, in this first game, we got a monster. So we have to make sure that every single day, every play, every meeting is on point going into this first game. And then as you go throughout the season, you just have to build and grow. And that's what's exciting about this group. But they're hungry and they want it.
Yeah. So that, from the Big Ten Network, it was just something that I wanted to bring up because building that foundation, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to try to break that foundation down. I think he learned that lesson last year. There was a lot of ups and downs. The injuries, number one, you got to have an A, you got to have a B role so that you can hop right in, have your best guys on the field. Also, just the drama of the season, going in, losing at Oregon, the way they lost at Oregon, not really playing very good on defense, whether it was, a coach conflict, which some say it was the Jim Knowles approach, him being at Penn State now, it makes it even more interesting if that really was, kind of a, button come to Jesus meeting after that. Then defense cleans everything up and the offense goes downhill against the rival. Having Michigan come in and even be in that game was incomprehensible. But then they come back and win a national title. Everything comes together all in one piece. So it's not just initially, I think he's got that bigger picture approach. And it's more of an NFL model now where you can lose a couple games and go on and peak at the right time and win a national title, just like you can win a Super Bowl. Things have changed. The dynamic of college football has changed.
They have, but I don't want him to get comfortable losing games and still getting in.
Correct.
That's my hope, is that he's, because I want to be the first team to go 16-0. I don't know about you. I wanted to be the first team to go 15-0, and we let that go by the wayside early. So I think each year he's learning something different, and I expect that to come to a head at some point, to where all the lessons he's learned allows him to go on a tear. And a lot of that will be shown this year, like we mentioned the last time I was on here. This is the first season of his where he's coming in as a defending national champ. And this is the first season in Ohio State history we're coming in as a defending champ off a loss to the team up north. So for me, this Texas game will show some things, of course, but I'm going to see a lot of what I need to see about Day's future in that game in Ann Arbor, because he obviously should have a different mentality coming into this one coming off a natty. He should have all the confidence in the world. He should be able to look at that film of himself in the playoff and be like, if I coach like that every game, I can win every game. So
with
we'll
the
see.
talent we have, absolutely. Anyone from camp that you kind of really took an interest in, or was like, man, that guy's better than I thought he was, or interested to see more of or hear more about?
I know he just lost his black stripe, but I want to see CJ Donaldson run behind an offensive line like we're gonna have. Obviously at West Virginia, he hit in the 700s a couple times. Never hasn't gotten close to 1,000, obviously, in a season.
He was a wide receiver. Did you know that?
Yeah. So I mean, I think he's got the capability, and I've heard a lot of great things so far about our offensive line. I heard not just the starters are great, but the second string's great. So it sounds like we have depth, which will be fantastic, because last year we were holding our breaths a couple times, losing a couple key pieces to that offensive line. So it sounds like not only is Tyler Bowen doing a great job, but developing, but he does a great job recruiting as well too. So this might be everything Buckeye fans have prayed for in an offensive line coach, thankfully. So
that might be the most fun I've had watching an offensive line in maybe ever. Everything that's gone on with Tyler Bowen, watching those guys get to the second level, how big they are, how violent they play, how fast they play for big guys. It's been just an absolute pleasure to see those guys move the way they are, to see those three coaches out there coaching that team the way they're coaching them too. It's been just awesome, all around awesome. And we're so close. When you're in the media, you're so close to the offensive linemen. You get to see a real good picture of how big those are, how well they're moving, how quick those feet are. What really impressed me the most was the defensive line. I don't think that that's going to be one of the issues with this team at all. I think there's a lot of depth there. And when the starters are in, boy, oh boy, is it next level. It is absolutely next level. K-Mac is a tear, dude. And Kenyatta Jackson, a tear. And defensive ends are awesome. Just absolutely awesome. Bo Atkinson. I thought he looked great. And then
it's like we talked about last time, right? All it took was getting a defensive coordinator that is willing to work with the other coaches, especially Larry Johnson, and not hinder his entire position group like Jim Knowles was. And I said it on the last show. I said, I honestly think the defensive line is going to perform better this year, start to finish, than they have last year or the previous 2-3 years before that. I truly believe that. I think that they're going to be able to feast this year because they have a defensive coordinator who will make sure they feast. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting.
Right. Just for Doug Shepard, if he's still on here, hey, I got some mock-ups of your hat, Doug, if you're ready for it. All right. So I need to meet up with you and get it to you in a couple weeks if we get the chance. All right. So what we're doing at Buckeye Backers is you are a member of the locker room if you comment in our comment section. That is our locker room. If you comment enough and they're good enough comments, eventually you're going to earn yourself a black striper. When we take off that black stripe, we're sending you one of these hats that we're ordering specially just for the locker room. They will be on the side. Actually, let me get the other one up here. There's another image of it. I like to say they're just special ordered. They're going to say locker room on the side for those of you that have joined the locker room or earned your way to the locker room. So it's got a little locker room signature on the side too. So the other ones will be available for sale, but these locker room ones are special. You can only earn it by participation in our show. It's going to be awesome. Hey, if a fan wants to get their black stripe removed, you just got to come to Buckeye Backers to get it removed.
There you go.
It's going to be awesome. Hey, we just want to include you in the show. We want the fans to be included and comments. You look up stats for us, whatever we need during the show, especially during the season. Doug's already earned it. Doug Shepard's already earned it. He's been around. He's in the show. He's been in the comments. He's been looking up stuff for us whenever we're like, hey, yo, I need a stat. He gets it in the comments right away. Locker room. Earn it. Get your black stripe removed. Join us this season to get it done. All right, Doug, there he is. Hey, Doug, which one do you like? You want red? You want gray? You want black? I think I'm going to get a little of each of them. But also there's the flat bill. There's the curved bill. There is different style logos, too. You can get a square logo. You can get a cutout logo. You can get a circular logo. Tell me what you think about the color, Doug. Anyway, back to the team. Doug's gonna comment on that in a little bit. Man, I talked earlier, like, I just try to find a negative somewhere in this team. I'm looking for something that I was like, I'm not sure about that. Not quite sure about that. And I think where I'm going to go is I'm not sure necessarily that Ethan Onyeonwa is going to be ready right from the get-go. I think it's going to take him a couple games to settle in. And the problem with that is that defensive line at Texas is going to be the real deal here.
It's possible. I mean, we took a flyer on Josh Simmons when he was at San Diego State, and all we heard was he was a penalty flag machine, and we were all like, "Oh boy!" And then look what we turned him into. So
that's true.
I thought, he might struggle a little bit because all of a sudden he's seeing some competition that maybe he's never seen before. I don't know if Rice. I couldn't tell you when the last time Rice played Texas. I'd have to look that up.
And they didn't play last year because we did look that up in previous shows. So
I got you right now. I'll tell you.
Go ahead. Doug might beat you to it.
But no, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I think we'll have a plan for that if 2023 this is the last time they played. It was 37-10 Texas. So I mean, obviously, but he might have played him if he was on their team back then. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. It sounds like we got some guys that we can plug in different spots. I heard that who many say is the best offensive lineman in the room is Austin Zerfield. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, if you can plug him in different spots if need be, if like Ethan's just not quite there yet against Texas, maybe shift some things around if you need to. It sounds like we got some versatile guys, and we know Carson Hinsman can be moved if need be. So
I don't want to say that he's a liability. I just think that there were some times, and maybe that's just something that they need to clean up in fall camp, and probably is, to be honest with you. Sometimes he got bull rushed a little fast twice in a row. He got knocked down, and it was just the speed coming, and I think he's just got to get used to that speed because he was quick out there. I mean, you saw the videos that I posted. He was getting to that second level quick in the drill. I think it's just you got to get a couple more repetitions, and maybe that comes in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, these guys aren't finished products yet, and that's totally normal, totally okay. They just have to be beginner level finished products by the first game, and then of course they're going to continue to grow through the season too. So we need them to be at their absolute best come playoff time, of course.
And the thing about it was against our defensive line and against like Caden Curry, and I think the other one before that was Bo Atkinson.
Yeah. I need Edric Houston to get back out there. That's what I need right now. I'll feel a lot more comfortable when he's back out there.
You saw him the next day. He was walking gingerly.
I figured it was. Looking at that video, he got hurt. I don't think it was anything serious. So I'm glad it was.
It did look like it could have been his ankle, but he definitely had a knee brace on, so it was his knee. But he was walking slowly with a limp that first day. Went in, and I'm assuming he got on the bike and just loosened it up, got the inflammation out a little bit, because he came back out. You could tell it was a little less stiff. He wanted to get out and do some drills. The coaches had to be like, no. Yeah. And then day 2, he comes out. I guess that would have been Saturday. It was day 3 of practice, but he was walking a lot better, jogging a little bit, doing some of the stretches a little bit more. Again, they were, hey, you need to sit this one out. And then we had the press conference with Ryan Day on Monday. He said, about 48 hours. So He's already practicing.
Well. The positive of it is,
I guess it was Tuesday
with a guy being injured like that and having to sit out, it allows for depth to be built in a sense. So, but obviously, it would be a lot easier if we were playing Bowling Green game 1 instead of Texas for that, because we need Edric Houston to get all the practice he can in, because we got a big one game 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a different year.
But that's what we saw with Day. It's like we got to have everything squared up. It's got to be tip top. We can't, basically coach speak for like we can't be jumping off sides. We can't be having turnovers. Everyone's got to be ready to go. He did also say this is a game we have to win. This is a game we have to win. This isn't an option. I don't want this to be taken like Oregon, like it's acceptable to lose. I think Day feels that, like you said. I think he feels every game is a must win now.
Which I love that. I love that mentality.
That's the next chase.
Like, obviously, if we win that game, we got a really big cushion for the rest of the year, right?
For sure.
But if we lose that game, then we're like, okay, we're not out. But if we lose another one, then we're on high alert. So,
and it might be
definitely is important
versus 2.
Yeah.
In Penn State, I think Penn State's the real deal.
And
I know where the argument is. I know where the argument goes. It goes right to Aller, and it goes right to James Franklin not winning the big games. But before this year, before that playoff run, I've said it before. I'll say it again. People were saying the same thing about Day. You can't win the big games.
Yeah.
All you need is 1 year.
It's not necessarily a good comparison because the way the season ended wasn't great. But the last time we played 2 or 3 number 2s in a season was 2006 when we beat Texas in Austin, beat the team up north, and then of course lost the third one pretty badly. But, hopefully it doesn't end that way.
That was the thing. That Urban Meyer in his prime. I mean, you got him right there.
Yeah, we definitely Miami'd Florida that year. We just didn't take them seriously and partied all week. Yep. I had a buddy who went to the game that says he just saw Troy Smith and all them partying up and
Oh, really?
Yeah. Troy gained like 20 pounds between that team up north game and the Florida game. I mean, he got pudgy.
Well, that was that was exactly what happens when you go on that Heisman campaign and you go to all those dinners. You're flying all over the place. You get out of shape.
And that 5-week downtime between games.
All right. Doug says they're going to be able to run the ball, which I absolutely agree with. They're going to have ridiculous receivers, which everyone in the world knows. And I'm not too concerned about the Buckeyes taking a step back. I'm not either. They're going to be right up there with the title hunt again this year. If they don't make the playoffs, it's an absolute shamble of a season.
Only the haters say we'll go worse than 10-2. I mean, if you're objective about it, they're 10-2 at worst team.
Well, what did you see on that Big Ten Media Days thing? They said 48% returning production, which is like 92nd in the country, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's a misleading stat.
Yeah.
Because some of that's from the offensive line. Those guys weren't necessarily starters on paper. They came in later, made up for losing a Remington Award winner, made up for losing Josh
Montgomery's got playing time.
Yep.
Those guys, that entire offensive line outside, obviously Ethan's new, but he's played somewhere else. He's got playing time elsewhere.
Yep. They're nasty.
These guys have playing time.
And then losing, 8 starters on defense. Obviously, that was a big part of it too. But those guys all had backup playing time. Kenyatta Jackson would have started anywhere in the nation if it weren't for Ohio State last year.
Elite programs reload. We reload.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're not going to go 8-5. I hate to tell you. Sorry. It's just not going to happen. So
what's worst case scenario? What do you think?
9-3.
Yeah.
You lose the big 3 games of the year.
And that would be concerning though too. I mean,
that would suck. Or we lose a 3rd game by going 10-2 and making the playoffs and losing there. I mean, that to me is the only way we're losing a 3rd game is if we're 2-loss team going into the playoff and we lose. That's the only way we're losing 3 games to me. Obviously things could go completely off the rails. I highly doubt it. I very, very highly doubt it.
Well,
I know Washington, you worry about them. Illinois, you worry about them.
Mhm.
I think
Illinois
we
is
win
going to
those.
be a sneaky good team too.
I think we win those. I'm not.
We better, but they're going to be sneaky good. I mean,
Yeah.
they returned their entire offensive line and that Doug Alt, or I mean, not Doug Alt.
They got 17 returning starters.
Yeah.
They should be good by all intents and purposes.
Let's get this comment in here by Doug, and then we'll probably close out the show for the night. Alex Boone played the season with a flat stomach against Florida, or during the season, and against Florida in the championship game at floppy belly. Well, you know what? I mean, that doesn't surprise me with Alex Boone with his history and drinking and having a good time.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school, and I remember saying during that game, I'm like, man, Alex Boone even looks fat. I was like, God, all these guys, and oh boy, they all were, pretty much all of them were out of shape and ill prepared.
You know who didn't look fat? Teddy Ginn, but he was only in for one play.
His ankle looked fat after he got rolled by his own teammate.
That might have been Alex.
Oh,
Roy
Hall.
Oh, it was Roy Hall, yeah.
Roy freaking Hall. Not to say we win that game with him, but it's closer. And when Santonio Holmes left the year before, I said, boy, I hope that doesn't come back to, because imagine Ted Ginn and Santonio Holmes in that game.
On that team. Wow.
We could screw the pooch then, right? Like
nope.
that should be enough to open the offense up against that Florida defense. I
mean, just having Ginn would have made the difference, all the difference in the world. Having him go out, number one, was like deflates,
killed us.
The team. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, I've only half forgiven Urban Meyer to this day over that loss. He got me half back with the 2014 Natty, but
yeah, we needed a second one for it to be
I would have fully forgiven him at that point.
Yeah. I want him to say sorry to me just once.
Yeah, just once. Just be like, that's the worst game I've ever witnessed. To this day, that's the worst one.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean,
worse than the Iowa game, worse than the Purdue game. It's
really?
Because we were number one start to finish. We were the best team in the country with the Heisman winning quarterback. That should be the recipe for winning it all, being perfect 13-0. And boy, did we.
Yeah, that was tough. But hey, we got this season. We want to go back to back. Like, I've always wanted to have that back to back national title.
It would be nice.
It's not something that it's even been close to being seen in my lifetime. Like,
if Ryan Day goes back to back,
could have been.
If he goes back to back, and let's say devil's advocate, but he loses to the team up north, but goes back to back.
Man, don't say that. Don't say
that. Where does he rank in Ohio State coaches after that? He'd have more than Tressel and Urban, but once again, he stubs his toe against the team up north. So you got to take that into account too. You got to be like, well,
I don't think he loses to Michigan this year. I don't think
we've been saying that. I hope you're right. God, I hope you're right.
He's got that off his back with the national.
I can't
wash that off. Wash that off.
I just need their fan base to be humbled in multiple ways. Hopefully they'll get a huge slice of humbling right before the season starts.
Oh yeah. Right before the game.
Dash every one of their hopes and dreams right before it starts.
Friday before the first game.
Oh,
was that the 29th?
I hope that's when the NCAA does. I hope they do it a week of.
Oh man, that would make my day.
And then but
actually, you know what? I lied. I want them to string it along. I've said it before. I'm going to stick with it. I want it to go out another year, another 2. So we talk about this next off season. I just want to see.
I want it to happen while Bryce Underwood's there. I want Bryce Underwood to be like I want them to get a 2-3 year postseason ban, and Bryce Underwood be like, oh, so I can never play for an Natty here? Oh well, sorry. I mean, he didn't want to go there anyway. He talked mad shit about their QB development in person in an interview. It's out there.
Yeah.
And they dropped the bag, and he said, well, this place ain't so bad. Maybe I'll come here.
Hey, if Oracle's going to pay me, I'm going to go.
Yeah, so I just want him to have a reason to be like, well, sorry, not sorry. I'll go get paid somewhere else.
Mr. Ellis. Hey, and apparently they're not going to be able to do that anymore.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see how that comes down.
We will see.
Well, hey, we got more to talk about. We'll be back talking more Buckeye football. I think there's going to be a scrimmage on Saturday. I haven't heard for sure, but I imagine that there is. So hopefully we get some news from that, and we'll be back talking about it.
Yep.
I think we're going to do a show sometime this week, and I haven't decided when yet, and I don't know who's joining me yet, but stay tuned. I'll put it out there on Twitter before. God bless everyone. Have a good day. Have a good evening. And any words from you, Alex, before you get off here?
We're getting close. 24 days. Almost 23 now.
It's 23.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right, here it comes.
Baby.
I can taste it. I can feel it.
Woo.
Texas is coming to town.
Are you going to the game?
I will most likely be there. I'm not sure.
I'll be up in C deck, so I'll wave at you.
Ooh, it's going to be hot up there. Woo. Hopefully you're on the side underneath the press box where you get a little shade.
No, I will be in the closed end.
Ooh.
Up by the snipers.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Well, have fun at it. I don't know if I'll be there or not.
I can't wait to get my the towel.
The towel,
Yeah.
You better save that.
I will. I'll frame
You know
it.
what Ross said? That I forgot about that. Let's talk about that. What do you think about the towel?
They've given out towels before at games. I've kept them all. I mean, if this is one that's if it's gonna be like a yearly thing where they become like
they even said, some traditions people have taken from us, some we've taken from other places. It's the terrible towel. It's Buckeyes' version of the terrible towel. And
I'm okay with it. I mean,
I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Why not start a new tradition at Ohio State?
I know there's some traditions they've changed that people are happy about changing and stuff. I mean, let's see how it goes. Give it a whirl.
You see, Brutus is going to get his own entrance.
He should.
It's going to be
greatest mascot in sports. Sorry, Oregon.
I'm ready to see that. What do you think about the celebrity bell ringing before the game?
I like that too. As long as they still let a celebrity guest dot the I sometimes. I mean, if they're worthy enough, let them do it. It's great.
Yeah, I imagine this is going to be every big game.
As long as it doesn't become like WWE and you let Travis Scott ring the bell, like who cares about that, right? You know what I mean? Like to make it relevant to the event. But
then we got the other thing. The crowd can earn a Buckeye leaf.
I like that.
I think that is awesome.
I know some people are like hating on it, being like, "Oh, that seems like real high school football ish." These are ways to get the crowd more into games, and Ohio State games have desperately needed that. Like that Tennessee game made me proud because I was like, man, I haven't seen a crowd like that in quite some time because Ohio State lets too many old people harvest all the tickets, and they come there, and then those are the people that'll tell you, sit down. Well, you could have stayed home.
Sit down on your couch.
Yeah, stay home. So that's why I've always said Penn State has not just the best atmosphere in the Big Ten, but probably the nation, because they get a lot of young kids in there that are just loud the whole time.
Well, I think even the older fans at Penn State, they're doing their part.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times. I've seen two whiteouts, and all fans are up.
Yeah.
Up
and kudos to them. We need that here.
We need that atmosphere. Yeah, I like the Buckeye leaf a lot. I think
I love it.
There was a time when you collected your ticket stubs and you had some.
I still have some of mine. I miss those.
I was at that game, and you could say, just think of any historical game, like when Gamble returned that pick for a touchdown against Penn State. If you were there for that, 2002 Ohio State Michigan game, going to the Fiesta Bowl, and you had that big. Do you remember that big chip cut out head that they had instead of a cheese head?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, like some of those things, they're memorable. You had that Buckeye leaf, and I imagine it's going to be memorable. It's going to say the game you're at, that the crowd won it, or something along those lines. That's going to be a cool keepsake, right, for the fans?
Yeah, I think that's going to be really sweet. And, you get I like collectibles. I like having stuff from that, from any game I go to. I love having something from it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, obviously, the ones that we end up losing, I kind of tuck those away and maybe never look at them again. But, I think it's just a great thing to get fans involved. And that's what we desperately need, because we want to replicate that Tennessee game. No matter what time of day it is, we want that to be replicated, because that clearly made a huge difference in that game with the weather and everything else as well. So,
absolutely. Have you listened to that Ohio Camp song?
I haven't got a chance to yet.
I have not listened to that yet.
But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give Ross Bjork the benefit of the doubt on all these changes. I just need him to get NIL to where it needs to be, and not be so scared about it.
Yeah,
I get he's got PTSD from Texas A&M, but this next cycle we got to hit the ground. We got to get it.
Keep that ball rolling. I think they're going to figure it out by next year. They're going to have.
It sounds like the confusion that he had and they had about it has been cleared up for them. So hopefully this next cycle, we just dunk on people.
Doug said that Tennessee game was a blast, but frigid. It was.
I'm so mad that I had hip surgery not long before that, and I was crippled and couldn't go. I wanted to.
Freezing.
I didn't think we were winning that game just because of what happened the last time I was in the shoe.
That's why ticket prices were so cheap.
Yeah, but I was like, man, I was like, if I was able-bodied, I would have went, and I would have enjoyed every bit of being that cold.
For instance, you're up in the nosebleeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Against Texas?
Yeah, unfortunately.
How much are those tickets going for?
Those tickets, I got because I screwed up. So my dad is an alumni. I'm an alumni. So we get an alumni window.
Okay.
And usually at 10 a.m., I'm ready. I usually get A-deck tickets because I'm quick with it. Mm-hmm. But this year, he went to the hospital the day before. So my mind was like,
yep.
And the next day comes noon, 2 hours after the window opens, and I'm like, oh, crap. And I got on there and basically everything was gone. So I had to get resale tickets, and the resale was going for like high 400s.
Yeah. So Tennessee fans are out there all thinking that it's cheap and easy to get Ohio State tickets. You can get them for $100 the night before the game.
Yeah.
That's not how it is for a big game. It's never been like that. It was because Ohio State lost to Michigan that you guys were able to get that many fans in the shoe, first of all. And then it was cold as hell.
Yeah.
And that's the one benefit to being in the press box.
Yeah.
Talk about nosebleeds. That's up there. But
you get the best view though. You're
safe
like there. Yeah, that, and you see the whole field. I mean,
you see everything that happens.
I would love to say there's not a bad seat in the house at Ohio Stadium, but there obviously is. B-deck.
Yeah, absolutely. They gotta change those into like executive suites or something.
They got to do something with B-deck. The first loss I ever saw in person was Illinois 2007, and I was in B-deck with a pillar like right there, cutting off like the 20-yard line to the end zone. And this Illinois fan in front of us was like related to one of the players. And he was like, go Illinois, the entire time. And I'm just like, oh, this is the worst day of my life.
I cannot take this anymore.
Oh, it was awful.
All right. Well, I tried to say goodbye earlier, but you brought up a good topic.
I'm sorry.
No, that's great. Hey, the more football that we could talk, the better. So you got a little extra 13 minutes there for
there you go.
All right. Let's get out of here. God bless y'all. Good night. Welcome to football season, baby. Welcome
Go Bucks.
Here it is. Go Bucks. OH.
I hope.
Peace out.